Hello. I know my frame rate is going to be up and down again all stream today. We started off low. It's just back up to green. I'll keep an eye on it. If it keeps causing us difficulty today, then I will get back in contact with the internet service provider. Has anyone started watching the new Whoa, don't do that. I don't know if anyone's watched the new series of Black Mirror, but the first episode with Chris O'Dowd has some great scary reflections on how subscription services work and applying them to a situation that you don't really want it applied to. It's the kind of episode I can't really talk about without spoiling it. You can't. But Chris O'Dowd from the IT crowd, first episode of the new season of Black Mirror, he's got such a kind, friendly face, and to see him go through like a horrible story of like lots of bad stuff happening to him, it really works. Speaking of people going through a horrible story and lots of bad things happening to them, you've joined the horror stream. So we're going to be looking at 4 horror games this morning that people have sent me in. None of these games are out yet. They are games that have demos, but they're not sort of commercially released yet, because the whole point of what we do here on Indies Under the Knife is to sort of showcase and critique games that aren't finished yet. And I've tried to group them together so that if you're into a particular genre of games, you can tune in for that thing. And that's why today we're not just doing horror, we're doing a specific type of horror, so horror with puzzles. And yeah, we're going to be thinking about these games. Smug Pie just popped into the chat. Oh yeah, speaking of people going through horrible things. Hi. I want to get the chat up on OBS, but I don't think I can work out a quick way of doing that without it being not in dark mode, so I will leave it for now. Yeah, we're going to be looking at 2 games on Steam, 2 games on itch, and if you're unsure how this works on this channel, I have a sort of form that people fill out, and always exciting to start a stream with a form. And people send me their games. I think I can show this. It doesn't have any email addresses in or anything. People send me their games to look at. I have a quick look at them, and then I sort of categorize them. So this Thursday, we're looking at puzzle horror games. Next Thursday, we're going to be looking at games with weird and wild aesthetics. So if you'd like games that have really, really unusual or experimental art styles, that's what we're doing next week. And then, yeah, we're doing horror this week. And I'm quite interested to play these, because I think the issue I've had before when I've tried to group together and play horror games as a kind of genre is it's not really a gameplay genre, it's a mode or a mood. And you can have a horror game that's a survival horror game, you can have a horror game that's a puzzle horror game, and because of the lovely time that these developers have taken to give me information about their games, I've been able to categorize these, and instead of just calling them horror games, they're puzzle horror games, and that gives us a little bit more to go on. So the first one we're looking at is called Last Report. Let's have a quick look at the store page. Really neat, like really neat pixel art stuff going on with this game. Really kind of looks like a Scumvy game, like the old Indiana Jones games and stuff like that. But it also seems to be in first person, so lots of sort of Papers, Please type first person interactions with things. And maybe some cryptid stuff, maybe some sort of Twin Peaksy weird cryptids in the countryside type stuff. We've got some gore, but if you look at the screenshots, it's not totally dependent on the gore, and this looks like some sort of body horror type stuff. So, you've seen it in the screenshot, so don't freak out if we get in sort of 20 minutes time and it's really gory, because it's coming and it is a horror stream. So, but it does look like a game that is more leaning on mystery and kind of horror happening in a sort of everyday location rather than constant grimdark and gore and stuff. So let's see what we've got here. It says download, but I've already got it. Don't know what's going on there. CP said, I felt like the first episode is too close to reality. Yeah, it could be a trial happening today. Yeah, definitely day after tomorrow type stuff. And as always, the links to play these demos are all in the description for the stream, or the video, or the VOD if you're watching the video afterwards. So let's check this out. Play, options, credits. We can give some feedback. Oh, Freud. You know he just said all this stuff because he knew one day he'd get to be in a video game if he said this stuff. Night shift reporting in. I've just arrived now. Sorry. It's going to be one of those ones where I have to voice act the entire game. The park recently got new management, so the rules have changed. I need to check the guidebook. No, I need to do my, how does Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks speak? Kind of just like a radio broadcaster voice, isn't it? Let's turn the light on first. And off. And on. And off. And back on again. We've got a little book. We've got a computer with a mouse. Welcome to the National Park Staff Handbook. This guide will help you navigate your role as a park worker with key information on park rules, safety, and work instructions. I normally say I'm available for voice acting, but anything American, probably not. We've got introduction, park rules. So these are the rules that I need to probably enforce. I feel like all of these are going to be a kind of Chekhov's gun to the type of stuff to expect in the game, right? Like flying drones is going to be a red herring where we're going to see something in the sky, and because we've seen it here, we'll just be like, oh, it's just someone flying a drone. Actually, it's like a possessed seagull raining hell upon the forest. We've got to look out for illegal campfires. This is all the stuff you'd expect a park ranger to do, I guess. Make sure there are no bikers or hippies having parties. As a night ranger, you review, verify, and upload auto-generated reports. If a report is unclear, poorly formatted, or incorrect, you must flag it. We've got some papers, please. First, take a report from the paper stack and upload it to the computer. Then open the report app on the computer to begin submitting the report. Check if the image matches the report description. So, I think we're going to get some fun playing around with images versus reality stuff here. Like, a photo is taken and it doesn't really match up what was there, or vice versa. Don't know. This is doing a lot of signaling of what to expect from the game. If it matches, submit a category. Select a category and submit. If it doesn't match, select image does not match the description and submit. We're doing a captcha as a game. Reports generated by the computer may be printed incorrectly. Simply check report is printed incorrectly. Got some applications. Got a weather app. Got a report app. Got a park watch app. Park Live. And someone is knocking at the door while I'm trying to read the tutorial book. Hey, look who's here. How's work going? I don't know, John. I just got here. I haven't even turned on my computer yet. So that's what's coming back from vacation looks like. How was it? Tell me everything. Oh, where to begin? Sand in my shoes, blazing heat. Those 2 weeks flew by fast. The family loved it, and that was what mattered most to me. It was amazing, but all good things come to an end. Welcome back to reality. Ha ha! John's a man's man. John loves to crack open a cold one with the cryptids out on the porch when it's raining. Yeah. I'd love for my biggest worry to be the heat. Anyway, I stopped by because I've got some news. Is it a raise? Oh no, come on. Haven't you just gotten back from vacation? This is reality. No raises, and there won't be any, but they started replacing electric poles in the park yesterday, and every now and then the power goes out. So sometimes the lights flicker, but that's nothing new since things here rarely work properly. Oh, and we're down to walkie-talkies since calls don't go through. There's still no signal. Okay, it's giving us all the framing of like why the horror stuff is going to work and why the communication is like a bit broken from what we'd expect. Cracking open an old one with the boys. Excellent. Now I've just got like this mental picture of like, it's a sunny day, there's some dudes in like Gap advert clothes. They get a Miller Lite out of the portable fridge that they brought down to the lake. And and then this like tentacle goes out of the Miller Lite and starts slapping them. And all the yacht rock music that was playing, it was like, I don't know, like Albatross or whatever. And it all goes out of tune and the tentacle just starts flailing around and then the handheld camera gets dropped and it all goes fuzzy. That's the sort of thing that happens in this park, cracking open an old one with the boys. They still haven't fixed it? Jeez, it's been what, at least 3 weeks since we reported it? So if the power goes out, just wait a bit and everything should come back to normal. We're just 10 minutes into the stream, 15. This is the first game of 4 we're going to be looking at today. And for my best buddy, here's a freshly brewed coffee straight from the store to wake you up. Thanks. So, what do you need me to do this time? Haha, you know me too well, man. Do I detect some sexual tension here? If it's putting new maps up on the info boards, you're gonna have to bring me like 20 of those coffees. 20? No, a new guy's starting his first shift today, and I need you to give him the keys to his cabin. I'm out on patrol. Don't feel like coming all the way back without the car. Alright, I'll hand over the keys. Great, I'm off then. I need to finish up this patrol, and time's ticking. Welcome back, man, and if you get stuck on anything, remember to check the guidebook. Yes, I was reading the guidebook before you interrupted me. I probably forget a ton after a vacation like yours. Thanks. This is good framing for like why we still need to relearn the game, even though we're supposed to be someone that already works as a park ranger. Like you've gone on vacation, and that's why you don't remember how to play the game. It's good. It's good narrative framing. Oh, I almost forgot the most important thing. Here you go, bro. A cold one. A souvenir from my vacation. Oh shit, man. Now this is a fucking gift, not some fridge magnet. Thanks. We'll try it out at the next barbecue. Cracking open an old one with the boys. Sounds good, but now, if you don't mind. Alright, I'm out. I can see the pile of reports on your desk. Catch you later. Later. So I have a suspicion that this is going to be a Papers, Please like, and we're never actually going to leave the cabin. We're just going to run reports. Yeah, the atmosphere's great. We're sort of like doing pixel art, Papers, Please meets Twin Peaks type stuff. I think we're not going to leave the office. I think it's going to be a office work simulator. I've got a key. I've got to give to that guy. I'm drinking my coffee. A drink of 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 my coffee. Oh, it's gone. Fine. Why is there an upside down cross on the door? Because Satan lives here. Hold the right mouse button to drag the report. A lone fisherman is spotted on a boat in Lake S20, illegally fishing in a protected zone. Okay, that looks like what it says it is, so I'm going to put it on the computer. I love filing reports. Open the file. The image matches the description. There's a guy in a boat. He's doing some fishing. He's not supposed to do fishing. I'm going to submit that report. Select all images with a deer. That's got a deer. That's got a deer. That's got a deer. This is such a good setup because it's going to get us into the flow of doing this mundane task. And then we're going to hit this at some point and it's going to go Pony Island on us and just there's going to be some weird stuff, right? It's going to lull us into a full sense of security with how this mundane paperwork task works, and then it can start getting freaky. And this is one of the things that I always struggle with horror games where it's just horror all the time. You need, like, if you want proper sort of creepy cinematic or literary horror, you need to have contrast. And this game is already setting us up for that. It's great. Let's submit our file. Okay. We've got no other files in the computer. I can go in my documents. I've got documents. I'm going to look at them later. The weather. Don't know if that impacts anything else in the game. Uh-oh. That's not printed correctly. Printed incorrectly. Don't know what that minigame was for. A pile of discarded tires is visible near the L35 creek, partially hidden by overgrown bushes. The trees litter the ground, the tires litter the ground, polluting the natural landscape. Okay. That's correct. That can be submitted. Although, is there like a national difference in how we spell tires? Because I could have sworn tires is TY, but that might be a British American English thing. So I'm not gonna report that as a misprint, but it's just something to think about. Which path takes the ranger to the cabin? That one. These mini games are wild. It's like proper sort of like the little games you'd get in a kid's annual, you know? You'd get like a little kid's annual with a magazine that was like the 2012 Archie annual, and it would have little games like that in it. And it's really giving that kind of summer vacation vibe, which goes with the rest of the theme really nicely. CB has confirmed that we have different international spellings of tires, which means I'm not allowed to file that as a misprint. A vehicle is parked near the A22 trailhead. It has been there for 2 days, making it difficult for hikers to access the trail. What a bastard. Who do they think they are? So once the file's in here, I don't really need to open it again because I've already seen it at that stage. Another guest. It's probably the new employee. Alright. Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm Henry, the new guy. Hi, Henry. Nice to meet you. John mentioned you dropped by for the keys to your cabin. Yeah, thanks a lot. You know, it's not every day we see someone new joining the night shift. It's great to have you here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks. John actually showed me everything yesterday. Went over the rules. I also heard this park has a great reputation. Yeah, we're really good at leaving tires everywhere and then spelling them in different ways. Constant awards and stellar reviews. Pretty impressive accomplishments. That's true. We do our best to live up to that reputation. That's good to hear. Have you worked in a park before, or is this your first time? I've never worked in a park, let alone on a night shift. I took this job because it pays well, and I just finished moving here to Flink Peak. Oh really? I haven't heard about them paying a lot. What brings you to such a remote place? Flink Peak is a small town. Honestly, I'm not even sure myself. My wife and I moved here because we wanted a break. 10 years in the corporate world really wore me down. You and me both, buddy. Life here seems so peaceful. No rush, just better. And honestly, if I'd stayed there, my health would have taken a serious toll. I get that. Anyway, I should stop chatting and get my cabin set up before it gets too late. Henry, good luck with the job. I hope you'll be a great partner. Blink Peak might be out in the middle of nowhere, but like you said, there's no rush here, and the nature around us is the best part. Exactly. Thanks for the chat. Once I got some free time, I'll definitely pop by again. See you around. See you, Henry, and remember to enjoy the nature around you. Okay. Corporate job. Lucky he ended up here. A break from the skyscrapers is needed. 2 boats are spotted on Lake R22, with fishermen on board casting their lines in a no-fishing zone. That's not 2 boats, that's a fire. Image doesn't match the description. Select all images with deer. I wonder how strict the capture is, or if it just doesn't actually care what you put. Two boats are spotted on... Oh yeah, that's the correct one. We can see there's a boat in the distance there. I thought there was only one boat for a minute, but there are 2 boats. Put all the trash into the bin. So what they've done is they've put these mini games on the computer system so you can kind of engage with the other things that a park ranger would be doing without us actually leaving the place. The lights are flickering. I don't think he needed to tell me the lights were flickering. 3 people are seen at the edge of the S9 lake throwing bottles into the water, with the empty containers floating away from the shore. Are those bottles? I'm going to say yes. I mean, they could be throwing anything in the water. I thought I uploaded that. I'm not a robot. A hunter is seen in the N12 clearing with a rifle. As his dog chases a deer through the brush, the hunter follows closely. No, the deer is already dead. Image doesn't match the description. I really like these kind of games where you have like a claustrophobic setting, you're in the same room, but it's giving you a real sense of a broader world. It's cool. This is Caroline. Do you copy? Over? I copy you, Caroline. Hey, I'm calling because... I'm calling to say goodbye. I'm sorry, I didn't even have time to stop by and talk. Goodbyes like this suck, and I feel bad for ending things this way. I just had... Caroline, I understand. You don't need to explain yourself, and hey, I don't think this is the end. You can still reach out or drop by anytime. I didn't mean it's the end, it's just... So you got the job? Yes, I did. That's great, that's excellent. You should go into this science. How's this called? Park Science Laboratory Researcher. Yeah, that's a good opportunity for you and your future. I know, and I'm a little scared, but it will be fine, right? Of course it will be fine, I'm telling you. You know what this is doing? That I need to... The Alistair Beckett King sketch about every indie game.
8 a.m. Another day of my job of being sad. That'll be my ex-girlfriend, Sandra. I hope she doesn't break up with me again.
breaking up with you again for being too sensitive to my needs and too good with computers.
No. Gotta come to terms with it.
The problem is, if you ever make a sort of slightly artsy indie game and put a breakup in it, a plot critical breakup, it's going to remind me of that sketch from now on. I just wanted to tell you that it was a pleasure working with you. Okay, it's not a breakup, it's just one of our work colleagues. Okay. I could always count on you, and this park has one of the best employees in you. Okay, enough. Hey, I have a request. Yes? In your free time, make me a robot that can do my job for me. Haha, as soon as I start making robots, I'll bring one to you. Great. I've got to get back to work. Take care out there, Carolyn, and good luck. Thanks for all these years of working together. I promise I'll visit your park more often. But for now, over and out. Over and out. We've got quite far into this game, and no one has used the idiom, does a bear shit in the woods, and I would like to see that used in an amusing context. I mean, we don't know if this park has bears or not, but, you know. We'll see. A small campfire is burning close to the E10. The flames are contained, but the proximity to dry... That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that guy is molesting that pine tree. The image does not match the description. And I am not a robot. Despite what people think. Two hunters are spotted in the P16 forest zone carrying a deer between them on a makeshift stretcher. That's not what's happening there either. I wonder how this is paced. If it's random or if there's like a... Because the first couple were right and then a lot of them have been wrong in a go. What's that sound? Excuse me? Excuse me, what were you doing out there? Hello? Hello? I've got to stop smoking crack on the night shift. Oh, I can decide to call people. I'm going to say, John, was that you? Was that you being weird outside? No. How about Douglas? I don't remember who Douglas is. How about Henry? Oh well, everyone's dead already. Two people are seen among the cabins. No, that's not two people, that's three people. I sort of want to submit something wrong on purpose to see what happens. Select all images with deer. 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 Printed incorrectly. Plant a tree. Knocking the door? Can you explain something to me? Why the fuck is there a bear trap in front of your cabin door? Aha! That's what that person was doing. Well, it's fine. I'm not going to go out there anyway. I was just going to chill in here for the entire game, so it doesn't really matter if there's a bear trap out there. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you even realize what that thing could do to someone? Well, I obviously didn't put it there. Like, I'm a park ranger. I don't have bear traps. Oh, fuck, John. What? John, I just saw some guy outside a moment ago, but when I opened the door, he ran off. Must have been him. He set the trap? Are you serious? Yeah, but Why, and who the hell is this guy? I don't know if you can see it, but there's a very faint wiggle on this text. Like doing a wave effect. But it's very, very slight. It's incredibly subtle on the bigger screen. Gotta be some fucked up psycho. No normal person would set a fucking bear trap in front of a park ranger's cabin. We need to report this. Someone could have gotten seriously hurt, and that guy is probably still in the park. Fuck, I'll notify the other rangers to stay sharp, and I'll report it to management. We'll catch his asshole. But admit it, we've never seen anything like this before. Yeah, I totally agree. I never imagined someone would set a bear trap in front of my cabin. Tell the other rangers to watch out. I'll handle it leaving that trap with you, though. I'm not dragging that metal junk around. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Come on. I want to see a bit more of the game before we move on to the next one. I'm really like... I really like lots of things this game is doing. I loved Papers, Please. I love the idea of taking something as simple as basically a spot the difference puzzle and turning it into a full video game. I really like the idea of having quite a mundane activity to do, and then that is obviously going to have some horror elements in it. Like, I can see the capture becoming a horror element. I can see these images and the descriptions becoming a horror element, but maybe we have to get a bit deeper in before we see that. And just like having this back and forth between the story and what's going on with the interactive elements is really nice. The mood is really cool. I think it starts a little bit bleak and dark. Like, if we introduced the player and it was like sunset and it was a little bit pretty and everything before everything went really sort of spooky looking, it might give it a bit more of a sense of like dynamics. But yeah, like, I kind of like everything that's going on here. The writing is pretty decent. Two hunters are seen near the wetland area aiming their shotguns at birds in flight. Well, how am I supposed to know if that's a shotgun? It's just 3 pixels. Submit. I am not a robot. But yeah, very interested in this one. It's called Last Report. A drone? That's a drone. So we're going to get... I think we're going to get a few that don't have anything wrong with them. Select all images with deer. I'm imagining getting one of these captures where every image has a deer in, or where there's a close-up of some horrible deer monster getting too close to the camera or something. Like some bear out of Annihilation type thing. Lumb to pick up. Can you hear me? Loud and clear. Listen, I came across a group of people during my patrol. The park is closed for the night and they were in the staff-only area. What, they didn't see, like, the fenced-off area or the signs? They claim they didn't. Just some kids, yeah, troublemakers. We were just as curious back in the day. Can't argue with that. We pulled off worse stunts. I'll escort them to the exit. Make sure they don't mess around anymore and give them a motivational speech. Listen, can you call Douglas? I tried reaching him, but he's not answering. I'm starting to worry about our forest grandpa. Right, we haven't been introduced to Douglas yet, so... He should have finished his shift an hour ago, right? Yeah, and he's still not back. I don't want to keep staying late just because he wants to wander around the forest again. I got things to do. Beer after work isn't... Oh, I'm doing the wrong voice now. Because I'm rushing this because I want to get to a decent cliffhanger. So yeah, lots of things to like here. Really easy to just get into the flow of this. There's nothing here that was difficult to learn. Like, there's a... Ooh, we've got red in a black and white image. That's interesting. So now we're starting to get the horror element come in the images, and maybe the guy outside of the... Maybe the guy outside who laid the bear trap is the guy that did this, or maybe we've got a mix of scary things happening at the same time, or maybe the guy is a monster. Maybe we're dealing with a slasher movie, Mike Myers type, slightly more than human kind of dude. But the way this builds is fantastic, and I wonder if the pacing of the demo is different from the main game, because I think if I was making this as a... If I was making this as like a demo of this game, I might make the main game slower and then make the demo get to this point a bit quicker. It's hard to tell, you know. I'm always interested in how people make their demos maybe a bit faster or something like that for Steam. But yeah, this is great. There's lots of things I like here. If you want to play a spooky Papers, Please like that has menial tasks mixed in with a creeping sense of dread in a everyday location, then this is doing all of those things very well. So I don't have much kind of critical feedback of this. I think another thing we can kind of learn from here, like this animation on this window, this rain outside, is doing a lot of work to stop this room looking totally dead, right? Because this is a very, very sort of still environment where not much changes. But we're mostly focusing on the documents, and then lots of lovely little kind of sound design choices as well with how these sound effects play out. That is perfectly timed to the animation. Hi Vinho and Sound Magazine. Thank you for supporting the channel. Hi Clifford. Nice to see lots of familiar names today. That was the first game of 4 that we're looking at today, and it's called Last Report, and I definitely recommend checking that out if it looked interesting. It's like a horror Papers, Please type thing. And today our focus is on scary games with puzzles, so horror games that are puzzle games as well. We're trying to be specific with our themes for these streams so that, you know, occasionally you'll get someone who maybe doesn't follow the channel, but they like a particular genre of games, and they can pop into that stream. So yeah, sorry if I'm losing a little bit of bandwidth occasionally. It's going up and down all the time. I'm going to write to the ISP after this stream and tell them, look, I can't do my job unless you give me the quality of internet that I have paid you for. I think the thing about using a bear trap on a human is that it's overkill, right? Because a human is half the size of a bear. If you use a human trap, it's not going to be as painful. We're going to get some surrealism now. Which is why I put this one second, because I thought we'd go for something that looked like classic horror first. Ah yes, a spooky cabin in the woods. Ah yes, a mysterious threatening man. Ah yes, animals that have been gored to death. And then we can go into trippy land. Now, this also might be one of those things where it's sort of classified as because they know there's a kind of broader range of people that will check it out if they call it horror. But I get that this kind of liminal backrooms type thing is considered a subgenre of horror as well. So let's check it out. It's really cool aesthetic. More unreasonable body standards. So we've got a kind of liminal horror game here that has a really interesting visual aesthetic. He's like a Mario ghost, right? Yeah, it's very, very vaporwave. So if I look away. Okay, let's check out the second puzzle. Now, I think the thing the thing that this could possibly suffer from is just every level is a variation on the same thing, right? Because we have to find where the chaser is and then lead them backwards through a thing to get them away from the end and then go back to the end. So a problem this could face is just that every level is a variation on the same thing. But we'll find out. Let's take a look at the second puzzle. Look at this lovely, lovely place. You have entered the Purple Realm. Too many. Doctor Who ass MFs. Let's see if I can get this to connect in any meaningful way. I'm going to reconnect it for a while, for anyone who's just hanging around in the chat still. I did like a little rant that was sort of directed directly at my internet service provider that I'm going to just post as a separate video and send to them. I think that's fair enough. Yeah, so Purple Moth, I think that game is fantastic. It's a really neat puzzle, and like you say, it's not a unique mechanic to have characters that chase you when you're not looking. But some of the stuff I really like. I love the way they move. The sort of like goofy childlike run is really creepy. So much creepier than having them move like monsters, right? It's just a very strange mix of things. And I also just love that you've got that sort of psychedelic vaporwave aesthetic. And it's not just done just to be random. It feels like it fits the tone of the game, right? You're not going for like full-on gore horror or anything super dependent on jump scares. It's much more like there is a puzzle and the jump scare is there as a punishment for failing the puzzle. So the sort of match between the liminal vaporwavy aesthetic and the way the puzzles work feels very strong. Yeah, I really like that, and I'll edit down the stuff that got recorded and post it separately. I think I should have these two games in my downloads. The next one we're going to look at is called Riddle Me Scared. Which is this. I did the 4 levels, I think. I played 4 levels. And then I got to the bit where it was like, this is the end of the demo. So I did up to the point where we had the first level that introduced a switch. And yeah, the puzzle design is neat. And I like the fact that you're creating a level editor for it, because it'll be interesting to see how other people interpret those mechanics. One of the things I wondered about is if you've played around with verticality in that game. Because it would be interesting to see how blocking the line of sight in that dimension changes things or doesn't, right? If you've got stairways and things like that, and I think the vaporwave aesthetic that you've got is really it would work really well with doing sort of MC Escher type stuff with stairs that go in weird directions and stuff like that as well. So I'd be definitely interested to see how the level design in that game could be expanded to include some of that stuff. Let's check out Riddle Me Scared. And if the stream drops again, I just won't start it, because there's only so many times we can beat the dead horse of my internet connection. Right. Riddle Me Scared is... What does it say about it on here? It was a 2-week sprint prototyping the game. I wanted to see how far I could take the concept of a 3D, creepy, card-based murder mystery game in 2 weeks in order to determine if I should keep working on the concept or not. Okay. Yeah, I think stairways in that game could be a problem. I think it would need to be that the characters like just only path directly down them and they're not allowed to like run off them and stuff like that. But I could definitely see how that could get janky. Listen closely to my riddles, for they are the whispers of the past, the keys to unveiling the truth. Will you help me find justice? Who's this?
I've seen what others do not see, a silent witness to tragedy. Though my hands are soft, my gaze is sharp, my heart beats heavy in the dark.
Which of these is the... Not a fan of these AI portraits, but this, to be fair, this was made in 2 weeks. So... My heart beats heavy in the dark. Whose heart beats heavy in the dark? Who's the silent witness to tragedy? She's got sharp eyes, but not soft hands, probably. And I can't really tell what's different between some of these characters. Though my hands are soft, my gaze is sharp, my heart beats heavy in the dark. So, this guy's got a thing for hearing your heartbeat. So is that linked to that? Because having a stethoscope doesn't mean your heart beats heavy in the dark. So this feels like a red herring. The gardener is not going to have soft hands. The old lady is not going to have soft hands. I've seen what others do not see. And I don't know who she's supposed to be or who she's supposed to be. And okay, and then I right click. The only one I can link to the riddle in any way is the guy with the stethoscope because of my heart beats heavy in the dark. But it's not his heart he listens to. So if this is the correct answer, then I think this is a bad riddle. So let's try it. Does that mean the answer is wrong? Okay. He's not got soft hands. It's definitely not him. Her gaze is sharp. That's definitely the sharpest gaze out of what all of these people look like. The problem with trying to design riddles is riddles are supposed to sound vague, but the thing they apply to is very specific. But a lot of this, because we're looking at an image, it's quite subjective. My gaze is sharp. Let's go with her. Yes. Okay, we got it right. See, I don't see an old lady like that and think of someone with soft hands. So...
Within my slender embrace lies the power of both mercy and murder. A single pressing moment can hush the heartbeat forever. Tread carefully, for salvation and doom share the same form.
Okay. Something that can kill you immediately. And something that can kill you immediately, and it's slender, it's thin, and salvation and doom sharing the same form. A single pressing moment. Now, this could be a pillow because you press it on someone's face and it kills them. But this isn't slender, right? So when I think of slender objects in this, a rope is slender. But it doesn't kill you by pressing on you. Now, I think the other things that are slender, I wouldn't really describe scissors as slender. I would describe the syringe and the coat hanger as slender. And the coat hanger, I think, is giving us an abortion metaphor, maybe, that we're supposed to read from this. So this is already doing interesting things with how you interpret the image. But I would say the tread carefully line is most likely giving us the syringe, because you can step on syringes as well. I mean, you can step on any of these. You can step on a dog if you want to, but the syringe feels like it goes mostly with that. So I'm going to say this is my answer and lock it in. And the game says I'm right, but I could see how that could have been the pillow. I could see how it could have been the other ones.
I am a chamber where reflection meets renewal, a private pause in the cleansing cycle of life, yet behind closed doors, silent secrets swirl away.
Ooh, a chamber where reflection meets renewal. A private pause in the cleansing cycle of life, yet behind closed doors, silent secrets swirl away. And how literal are we being about reflection? A chamber where reflection meets renewal. Are they talking about the washing machine? That's a private pause in the cleansing cycle of life. I feel like that's the washing machine. Silent secrets swirl away in the washing machine. Okay. That's a washing machine. That's got a washing machine as well. No, that's an oven. That's an oven with a round door, right? So I will say, there's a lot of times when I just flat out don't play games if they have AI art in them, but I think this is a pretty decent use case because this is a game that needs lots of art. It actually reminds me of Dixit, or there's a similar game to Dixit called Mysterium, where one player is playing as a ghost and you use these weird cards to sort of partially communicate stuff. I am going to go for the image that has the washing machine in it, because I think this stuff about the cleansing cycle and the swirling away is about a washing machine. Oh, got it wrong. Hopefully we get a different order of oh, we got to do the same ones again. Same puzzle again. I see what others do not see, a silent witness to tragedy, though my eyes are stubborn. It's the grandma. The grandma. I'm not sure if they're really riddles. They feel more that like they're a bit too open to interpretation, and the right answer, because the right answer is a picture and not a word, it feels, even when you get it right, it doesn't feel exactly like, yeah, I cracked it, because it's not always 100% why you got it right? So I'm just playing through the stuff I did before, and it would be nice to randomize the order of these so that when people get it wrong and fail the game, they could have them again in a different order. I do think all of this is a cool idea conceptually, but I think the way it determines what is correct feels very strange. Because the riddle is almost like a poem. A chamber where reflection meets renewal, and it's not the one with the washing machine in, even though it says the cleansing cycle of life. Could be the bath. Behind closed doors, silent secrets swirl away. And it says reflection meets renewal, so maybe it should be a room where there's a mirror in it as well. Does reflection meet renewal in there? I don't know. In there? And silent secrets swirling away. It sounds like a water thing. And that's the one we chose last time, which is not right, apparently. And reflection meets renewal. I think that is the renewing light of the sun coming down and reflecting off the pool. Wrong. Incorrect. So we're going to go with the bathroom, like you say in the chat. Let's go with the bathroom. The guilty are unmasked, their secrets laid bare. Justice is fleeting, but it is yours. You have 2 mysteries left to solve. Next mystery. This is a cool premise. I think just having a flat out wrong answer where you go back to the start of the game might be a kind of structural problem that you might have to think about how to do that better. In a realm where life dances and shadows play, I sculpt sustenance from chaos and heat. With every cut and careful mend, I weave stories untold, yet beneath the surface, secrets can sear. Is that the chef? I sculpt sustenance from chaos and heat. With every cut and careful mend, I weave. Yeah, I think that's the chef. Yet beneath the surface, secrets can sear. Because the sear is a heat thing, and I can't... That's not a medical metaphor. That's not to do with the gardener. So I'm gonna go with the... I'm gonna go with the chef. Yeah. Yes, chef. I hold shapes above the ground, drawing tight lines through the silent air. In waiting tension, I cradle a heavy burden or offer a saving grasp. Follow my length, and you may find release or entrapment. Follow my length? It's going to be the rope, isn't it? In waiting tension, I cradle a heavy burden or offer a saving grasp. That's a rope. It can be something that holds something up, like a heavy burden, or it could be something that you grab when you're falling. And you can be entrapped in it, you can be tied in it, or you can find release in it. This is definitely the sort of game where you just have to trial all of the puzzles with a bunch of different people and see if the correct one seems to make sense to enough people.
Far from watchful eyes, I keep a silent vigil where memories sleep. Dim corners and teetering relics hold the weight of countless yesterdays. Yet my latch is rarely lifted except by restless ghosts of curiosity. I keep a silent vigil where memories sleep. Dim corners and teetering relics. Maybe this is the spooky attic. That's going to have dim corners and teetering relics. Keep a silent vigil. And this isn't far from Watchful Eyes, right? So all of these other things are inhabited rooms where Watchful Eyes would occasionally appear. The attic is the only room where you wouldn't regularly go in. So the dim corners and teetering teetering relics fits. The far from Watchful Eyes fits. I think this is the only one that fits the description. You have one mystery left to solve. I carry whispers concealed by promise of privacy. Each visit brings a bout of uncertainty. My burden is light, but the weight of what I bring is immeasurable. I carry whispers concealed by... I think maybe it's the doctor because of the confidentiality agreement that you have with the doctor. My burden is light, but the weight of what I bring is immeasurable. It's really interesting because some of these I can kind of see a very clear, like, chef, doctor, gardener, I don't know, old lady. And then this guy, I'm just like, what the hell is he? What is this guy? Like, the other ones have a very clear kind of meaning in terms of what they are, and then this guy is just like, it's just Danny DeVito. Like, the answer to this riddle is Danny DeVito giving me a Christmas present. I'm going to go with the doctor for this one. I think it's the doctor, because what the doctor brings you is either hope that things are okay or worry. So that it's a heavy thing. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be a mailman, but what in the name of Tom Waits kind of mailman is this? I'm here to deliver the mail. It's very strange. Let's go with the doctor. I think it's the one that makes sense. No. Okay. Let's go with the creepy mailman then.
Okay. That one was a bit more literal because it was talking about the weight of what he brings. A man's man, mailman. Exactly. I lie silent in the shadows waiting to catch. A single slip can bring a swift end, whether by tightening hold or fierce snapping jaws. By dawn I stand triumphant, unwavering in my vigilance. The dog? I feel like this might be the scissors. Right. We've got two things here that have snapping jaws, right? We've got the dog, the crazy little doggo, freaky chihuahua boy, or the scissors. They both have snapping jaws. A single slip can bring a swift end. See, you can fall on scissors and they can kill you, right? I don't think a chihuahua can kill you. I think it can eat you when you're already dead, but I don't think falling over in the presence of a chihuahua will necessarily kill you, whereas falling on some scissors would kill you. So I'm going with the skizzers. Ah! Whether by tightening hold or fierce snip. Right. This better not be the dog, because that is. Yeah. Okay. Going to take us back through those areas from earlier, so let's try it one more time. Definitely, if you're going to make this into a bigger game, you definitely need a way to mix the content up, because when you fail and then you're just repeating the same questions by memory, it's not particularly interesting. So you would need, like, I don't know, say you want to give people 5 questions for a round, you would maybe want to have a pool of 10 questions and randomize them each time or something like that. I don't know. This was the mailman. Maybe they are randomized. This feels like it's a different order. I lie silent in the shadows, waiting to catch. A single slip can bring a swift. So this is not scissors or a dog. Okay? By dawn I stand triumphant, unwavering in my vigilance. Better not be the coat hanger. Yeah, I think this is a neat idea. It also says rounds left, and they're not really rounds, are they? They are attempts. So I think, you know, given that we have AI generated cards, I wouldn't be surprised if the riddles haven't been written by a GPT as well. And I think that's maybe a problem, because when we have the set of 6 cards out, the riddles sort of point towards multiple possible answers, and I think if you've used generated images and a generated riddle, it's kind of creating problems, because I mean, even if you haven't generated the riddle, if you've written the riddle, but the relationship between the riddle and the correct answer might be fine, but the problem is, what else is here as a kind of throw you off the scent possible answer, right? Like this one, I carry whispers concealed by promise of privacy. Each visit brings a bout of uncertainty. My burden is light, but the weight of what I bring is immeasurable. My burden is light, but the weight of what I bring is immeasurable. That's metaphorical, right? In a riddle, when you say the weight of what I bring is immeasurable, it sounds like you're not talking about literal weight. It sounds like you're talking about the doctor in this instance, because the weight of what he brings is heavy in terms of importance. But the meaning of this part of the riddle is actually literal, and it's talking about the weight of what they bring as being an actual parcel, right? So this is confusing because, like, this riddle, I think all of the parts of the riddle point more towards the Doctor than towards the mailman. So I think to make this really shine, you would have to go through every riddle and think not just about, like, the image for the right answer, like which one is the right answer, but what are all the other things that are being shown at the same time. Because that was an example of where one of the wrong answers, I think, if you think of the way that riddles generally work and how much they use metaphor, the Doctor felt like the more sort of poetic, metaphorical answer to the riddle. And that's generally, I think, what people will be reaching for when they do riddles. That's how riddles sort of traditionally work. I lie silent in the shadows waiting to catch. I've tried every answer here, haven't I? I'm going to do the scissors again, even though I know it's not the scissors. Yeah, I can't get past this one because there's no way that the answer to that is a pillow. There's no way that the answer to that riddle is a pillow. I think this is a really interesting idea. But yeah, I think the thing is, when someone asks you a real riddle in the real world, and then you find out the answer, you if it's a good riddle, you immediately go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." But these aren't having that effect. Let's get a list of the riddles from The Hobbit. Okay, these are the riddles that Gollum asks Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows? Right? The answer is a mountain. A mountain has roots that you can't see because they're underground. It goes up, and it doesn't grow. It's not a biological thing that can grow like a tree. So the answer is mountain. And when you hear that the answer is mountain, you immediately look back at the riddle and you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But the riddles we just saw in this game don't have that impact where... I mean, I think, no, to be fair, I think some of the riddles in the game we just saw do have that effect. Like, the one with the chef, I felt that was an example of one that stood out and was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. The one with the syringe was an example of one where, after I'd answer it, I was like, yeah, I can see how that works. But this is the feeling you're really reaching for with a riddle puzzle, is when you hear the riddle, it's not literal. I mean, some of it is taller than trees. A mountain is taller than trees. But you've sort of got like this weird sort of poetic, non-literal meaning. But then when you hear the answer, you immediately go, oh yeah, you know? Alive without breath, as cold as death, never thirsty, ever drinking, all in mail, never clinking. It's a fish, right? Because a fish has scales, so it's like it's wearing mail. It's never thirsty, but it's always drinking. It's in the water. It's cold as death. It's just cold. It's a fish. And it's alive without breath because it doesn't need to breathe air. So when you hear the answer to that riddle is a fish, every part of it immediately makes sense. And you go, aha, yeah, I get it. And this is a really difficult game to judge because I feel like I'm not really judging the structure of the game. And there are some possible problems with the structure of the game. Like, you do the questions, you get them wrong, you go back, and now you just redo the questions. And if you know them you sort of do them again by memory. That sucks, right? That's not good. But it kind of feels like I'm just sort of judging your ability to write riddles. And the fact that these are AI generated images sort of suggests to me that you've gone to a GPT and typed in, you know, write a riddle where the answer is a mailman. And it's written you this riddle, I carry whispers concealed by promise, blah, 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 blah. And the answer is mailman. But then you've put it with these other possible answers. And doctor is a better answer to this riddle than mailman. So it's a neat idea. I don't think the execution is good. Let's move on. The last one is somewhere. But I don't hate that one. I just think it's an idea that needs a bit more bit more thought about the execution, the overall structure of the game, and what's happening with the individual riddles and the different answers that are available during the riddles. Because it's not just about what the right answer is; it's about what the decoy answers are as well. Like that old lady, that picture of that old lady did not match the description of someone having soft hands, right? Yeah, Smug in the chat just said, it's interesting how one AI-generated asset implies a multitude of others. Yeah. It's like, oh, how can I make a game where AI generates every part of it for me? And it's interesting because I felt like that game was hanging together reasonably well at a sort of theme level. It felt creepy, it felt spooky, it felt mysterious, but the deductive element of doing the riddles just didn't quite work, as some of that was because the riddles weren't well written or well matched with the images. Loyal Mercy. This one is called Riddle Me Scared. Let's see what the dev said. Oh no, this isn't called Riddle Me Scared. This is called... We've done Riddle Me Scared. This is called Peak. It's a horror-themed memory puzzle game that relies heavily on spatial audio for clue gathering. Okay, so this is a clue gathering, performing a ritual type game. We played one like this a little while ago, and I think it's an interesting theme. Spatial audio, so I really need to pay attention to what direction sounds are coming from. Dead Severity tutorial. Nobody likes tutorials, but trust me, this is for your own good. Finishing in just a few minutes, I swear. Okay, fine. Play down on the bottom left. Your button to advance should usually be on the bottom right. If you're making a game for a culture that reads left to right, then your continue buttons should usually be on the right. If you're making a game for a culture that reads right to left, then your continue buttons should be on the left. If you're making a game for both of those and you don't want to localize the button positions, then the button should be in the middle. That's sort of UI localization 101 stuff. Welcome to the den. You are here to perform a ritual. The entire game takes place in this one room. You'll rely on sound and just a bit of sight to uncover the truth. The rounds of the ritual begin and end with you kneeling in the center of the grid. The ritual happens in repeating rounds. First, the listening round, where you keep your eyes shut and listen for clues. Then a placement round, where you place relics on the ground based on what you heard during the listening phase. Okay. I'm already interested. It sounds a bit like... don't know if you ever played this game in school where someone's sitting in the middle and you have to take turns to sneak around the outside holding a noisy object like a pair of keys or something, and then the person has to point in that direction. It sounds like it's using a little bit of that DNA. I'm interested in this. I'm just going to check... I need to check that my headphones are on the right way around. Yeah, I'm available for voice acting, but only if it's doing a spooky Vincent Price audiobook kind of voice. So I've got two spooky modes. You've got Vincent Price, which is slightly snivelly and up here a little bit. And then you've got the sort of more Edgar Allan Poe audiobook where you go down here and you say, "Quoth the raven nevermore." Let's continue with the tutorial. Each round, she will make a sound in one of the grid squares. You can see the salt grid on the floor below you. Again, your job is to remember the type of sound, which grid tile it was made on, and place the appropriate relic there. So I can already see that if this game has a trouble, I think it's going to be the relationship between the sounds and the objects, right? Because all of this is a cool game concept. This is the kind of tutorial where I'm happy to read it. I'm happy to hear how the game works because it's a cool idea. And as I read the tutorial, I'm like, yeah, cool, I want to do this activity. But like, flash forward, I'm imagining hearing a sound and then looking around at the objects and being like, these sounds don't match these objects. Let's see if it's delivered on the relationship between sounds and items. Press space to advance tutorial. Okay. The book on the floor shows which relic matches each sound. That's a bit boring. These matches are randomized at the start of each new game. This tutorial round will only use one sound type. Click the book to view it and find the relic that is used for the whispers of spirits. Remember it. I'm not sure I like it being a memory game. I would rather it was like an association game. The crucifix is to be raised against the whispering of spirits. So the Bible is for thumps, the crucifix was for spirits, the rosary is for the voices of demons, and the candle must be set alight to ward off breathing's laughter and other exhalations. So I would need to know how demon voices from spirit whispers sound. And the grid looks like it only has these 8 spaces. So in the full game, we're going to be putting 4 objects down in 8 spaces based on the direction that we heard a particular thing happening in. In the corner of the room is the attic hatch. It's an important part of the room. She enters and exits through it. During the ritual, use the sound of it opening and closing to track when she's entered and left. On higher difficulties, she can occasionally come out during the placement phase, but do not worry about that for now. What was that? Spooky ball. The game is all about deducing on which grid places the spirit's sound are made. As such, positional awareness is important. You'll notice there are certain objects on the perimeter of the room. Objects such as the piano, the rocking chair, and others will make noise when she passes near to them. Okay, so we've got the memory element of remembering what spooky ghost sounds are made, but there's also things in the room that are going to make a noise as well, so I like that. Go ahead and inspect them if you like, and listen to the sounds they make. These items only meant to help you during the listening phase. Hello. Ah yes, that's what a squeaky chair sounds like. Good sound choices. A lot of these sounds are very subtle. I'm going to turn the sound up on my OBS before we actually do the gameplay. In a world where spooky spirits make sounds, one man will listen and place appropriate relics. That's a bit more of a cowboy movie kind of voice. I can't do the classic blockbuster movie voice. Hi, Jill. I think these are very well chosen sounds. They're quite subtle. Oh no, no, no. Okay, that's a level select type thing. Big old box of crucifixes. Yeah, you guys have just come into the stream at the point where it started working properly. On the table is a tape recorder with more info. Okay, whatever. Hold E to perform the ritual. Turn off the light and begin the ritual in the center square when you're ready. Hello, spooky ghost ball. Okay, I'm closing my eyes. Oh no, the game closes your eyes for you. Oh, that's no fun. I wanted to close my eyes. The border of the screen will flash white when she makes an important sound. Make sure you keep holding down E. Okay, I hold E to close my eyes. I didn't hear the piano, no. Need the sound up really loud, it's very hard to hear. Looking right. There she is. Okay. She's sort of to our front right then. Thank you, Paul. It's now safe to let go of E and rise. Time to begin the placement phase. I'm already very interested to see how this feels when it's out of tutorial mode. Because I can see the need for a tutorial because it's such a unique set of mechanics that you do need to teach it step by step this way. But the mood of the game is completely broken by it, so we'll see. Yeah, very creepy. The earlier difficulties will help you with visual indicators so you know where a sound was made. We know this round will only use whispers, but other runs will randomize which sounds are used. Okay. So I'm gonna go and get a relic, but I need to look in the book. The book tells me I use the crucifix against the whisperings. That one, please. Boom. Boom! Now it turns into a tower defense game and ghosts come in and the crucifixes start blasting them. She will now come back out like before and check your placements like some kind of weird ghost inspector. If she passes over a correct placement, a bright white flash will occur. If it's incorrect, a red border flash will show. If this wasn't a tutorial, you wouldn't have to keep... You would have just died. Keep holding E. Don't stop praying until she's gone. I'm praying. I'm holding E to pray. I think she just got Jesus blasted. I think that was the crucifix zapping her. You have successfully completed round 1. In the regular game. Okay, I want to play 1 round of this without the tutorial stuff on, because it's all a cool concept, but the mood of this is great. The setup is really interesting, but the whole concept of a game that is just like pay attention and the game will tell you what to do and then you do it. There's not much there, and I think if we didn't have this gap in the middle of having to use the spatial audio in order to pay attention to work out what to do, I think that it wouldn't be much of a game. So I'm interested to try and play this without the helper stuff on. Okay. I'm going to do the ritual to make her come in. I think that's... Oh no, I turn the light out when I want to do the lit ritual. Or I leave the room. Oh, okay. Exorcism complete. Ghostbusters. See, I can't skip the forgiving mode and go straight to a harder one. I guess I get why, but it makes it kind of difficult for me to really assess how this game works. She got Jesus blasted. Welcome back to Indie Jazz Clinic, the only channel on YouTube where you can watch a middle-aged man make jazz in your favorite indie game. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Now, normally you'd get a copyright strike for singing Fly Me to the Moon on a stream, but because I was doing this underneath it, yeah, Paul in the chat just said, if a game tells you what to do and you do it, it's not a game. It's just like a challenge, right? It's kind of like games like rhythm games like Guitar Hero and stuff. It kind of falls in the category of what I would think of as a challenge rather than a game, because it's just instructions told to you really fast and then you do them. And there's something about the scoring and the speed of everything and the fact it's on a disc that goes in a little computer that makes people think this is a video game, but it's like doesn't really fit a lot of the sort of philosophical definitions of a game. And I guess with this, it's really just a case of whether or not the spatial audio element is enough noise in the kind of signal chain for it to feel like a game rather than just get given instructions and then follow them. It's really a cool idea, and I don't know if I've just been put off of it by how unique stuff does need to sort of handhold you and lead you through it step by step because you're not used to it, but I just feel like I'm not going to get on with this well, and I want to give it a full chance with the harder mode without all of the tutorial interruption, but it might just not be for me. I don't know. Right, listening carefully now. Steps over this way. Just going behind me by the piano. Piano's there. Like a crack sound over there, like a thump. Like behind me and to the left. Right, coming around the front again. Creak over there. A thud directly in front. Was that last sound the attic? Has she gone upstairs? I think the going in the attic sound needs to be more distinct because I'm not sure if she's left. I think she has, otherwise this would be an annoyingly long amount of time to wait. So I think I heard 2 thuds. I was telling me exactly where they are. I think that the hand holding is a little bit too soon here, but then it's like I don't feel like I can adequately critique this game because a lot of horror game players are used to sort of ghost train games where they just walk through a place and get scared. So if you give them a bit more of a puzzle like this or Phantasmagoria or whatever it's called, you do need to handhold them because they might come in just expecting to not really do any thinking. But this is very, very heavy handholding, right? Danny Sims. I'm guessing that you did because you thought of it. Yeah, I need to check the book. What do I use for a thud? When I hear a oh no, that's not no, we're not praying. We're looking at a book. Turn the light on. Right. Let me read the book. The candle is for thuds. The candle feels a bit confusing when we have so many candles in the environment already. But I'm pretty sure that both of the things I heard were thuds, so I'm going to put that down. And then I turn this off, and I go and pray, and she comes back down, and then she checks what I've done. Which is a bit contrived and sort of takes away from the horror a little bit, I think. I pray. There is the Jesus blast. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of hold the button down or you open your eyes and die. The thing is, if a game is sort of like about not doing something, like not looking or something like, okay, knocked over there, back behind me. Gone past the piano. That sounded like it was in the same direction. Gone back upstairs again? Sounds like it. They were both thuds again, so I'm just putting candles down again. I think what might be happening is I I only got one of them right, maybe, and it's doing the same puzzle again, but it's not super clear. Okay, don't peek. Right, I'm looking straight ahead, I think. I think that's what the bar at the top is for. She's over there. Right there. I need to point because Danny in the chat said it looked like I was Hitler saluting a minute ago. Knock back behind me and to my left. Going back around that way again. And then I just do a Black Panther salute for the whole rest of the stream. Just to make up for it. I think we only got one noise that time. There was only one white flash. But now I've committed to doing this Black Panther salute, so I'm just going to have to play this with one hand. Ghostly whisper to my right or behind me and to my right. And a bell for some reason. I don't know. I'm gonna see what she looks like. I want to die. Let's check it out. Come on, ghosty. Oh, she's gone already. So. Like that. Yeah. You know, kids these days, they're scrolling on TikTok all the time. When I was a kid, this was all we had. That's the kind of TikTok I'm talking about. Right there. That's the good kind of TikTok. So, here is my general feeling about this game. This is a lovely environment. I really appreciate all of the effort the developer has put into tutorializing their game mechanics. I think this stuff, like the glow and the flash that happens when the ghost is walking around, all of those helper mechanics, they're very well intentioned, but it basically leaves you in a situation where I've been playing this game for 20 minutes and I haven't actually got a chance to play the game because we're playing a game about spatial audio and it's doing hand-holding that is maybe just making it too hard for me to learn, right? And I like all of this conceptually. I think it's interesting. It's not a very good spectator sport, which is why I've put myself massive on the screen like this so that you can see me furrow my brow as I puzzle at the game. Because this isn't a very good game to watch for streaming because the spatial audio element is the thing that the player is focusing on. And I just think these highlights that are happening in level 2, I guess we're in now, and when I'm kneeling down and that flash happens to tell me that an important sound happened and I needed to pay attention, all of that is basically playing the game for me. And what I would really have loved is to be told how to play the game and then immediately go into the hard mode and play it straight away. Because that would at least give me a sense of what really playing the game is. Right? And I think if someone can play your game for 20 minutes and not really get a chance in that time to engage with what your game is really about, then you maybe have a problem because people's attention span is just too short. And there may be someone who really loves the final version of this game, like the hardest mode, but your tutorial is so different from what the hardest version of your game is that they just can't get into it. And I think I might be one of those people. You know, I need a game to show me what it's really about very quickly. Otherwise, it's just Fire Emblem. You know, just like an hour of story before I get to do any gameplay. It's not really what's going on here. It's just too much tutorial before we get to what the game really is, because it's a game about spatial audio, and all of the visual stuff that you're throwing in to help it is undermining it for us. And this may be very specific to me. It may be that your audience really, really need to go through this tutorial and experience the thing. But I think maybe there's a way of structuring this to deal with that problem. Like, maybe you do the tutorial, then you throw people into a really hard game to show them what the full game is like, and then maybe you make it easier after that. I don't know. Maybe it will work for your audience better than it does for me, but this very slow tutorial that takes like 20 minutes to get to the point where you're getting multiple sounds, you're not getting these helper flashes and highlights on the floor and stuff. It's just too slow to get to the point, I think. Danny says, this needs to unshackle the difficulty from the level choice and make it an option. Yeah. Like, I wanted to play the tutorial and then go straight into the full difficulty of the game. But while we're here, though, we might as well do a new version of the thank you to the patrons song, like a free jazz version. I'll do my William Shatner voice. Thank you to the patrons. You have enabled this thing to exist. Thank you to the patrons. I have put your name on this list. Thank you to the patrons. Your donations show me you care. Thank you to the patrons. When we go to war with supernatural forces, may you be spared. Thank you. And good evening. Good night.
your gaze. Don't forget to save your project and back it up to the cloud or external media. Why is there still you in the stream chat? What's wrong with you people? Say